Good day to you. My name is Ketuk. Welcome back to the podcast. Catch it, a new perception. Thinking about how significant humans are in this lifetime. Some people may not like to hear this, but when it comes to life here on Unchimaka, here on Mother Earth, how significant are we? We think that we're different than the four-legged, the winged ones, the ones that crawl, the ones that fly. We think that we're different than nature as a whole, all of the green and the beautiful colors that come about. How significant are we? We're different than them because we have compassion. We feel certain emotion. We think that they don't. How often have you seen any of these videos? It's maybe a little more common on certain social media where someone will walk up to what looks like a wild animal, maybe a big cat, lion, a tiger. Walk up as that animal will approach them, stand up on its hind legs and give them a big hug and start licking their face, maybe even tackle them and wrestle with them and continue to lick their face and lick them, and realizing that this cat knows this human being and is being affectionate, maybe even saying thank you. I get that these animals communicate with each other. We sometimes cannot understand their communication. Often, I get it. How do they communicate with us, and how do we communicate with them? How significant are they, and how significant are we? I think the interaction, when it's loving, is incredible. I get that certain people like to take lives. There's this rock band out there by the name of the Killers. I believe that the name comes from the fact that they like to hunt and work for their food. And that's the essence of what they're talking about, is that they will surrender their own food through hunting, maybe even trapping, other things like that. Okay. It's what it is. I get it. It's the circle of life. It's not necessarily good or bad, and people have judgment on it both ways, think that it's the greatest or think that it's horrible or somewhere in between. I get it. What I'm thinking about is how, if all the four-legged creatures in the world disappeared, we wouldn't exist. As human beings, we would not be able to survive. Life would not be able to keep going. If all of the green in the world that you see, in leafy green things, whether they're trees, whether they're some type of plant, what you might think is a weed, grass, if all of the green disappeared, we would not be able to live life on this planet. If all the winged ones disappeared, we would not be able to live life. If all of the ones that swam in our waters disappeared, life could not exist for a human being. If all the ones that lived in the earth crawled into the earth, all of the bugs, all of the ones that crawl all over the earth disappeared, we wouldn't exist. If something as simple as bees, all your different species of bees, wasps, any of those, if all of them disappeared, we could not exist as human beings. Life would disappear. If any of these one things of nature disappeared, we would not exist. If all of the humans disappeared off the earth, the rest of life would flourish. The waters would be cleaner than ever before. The green would have everything from colors of white to black and every other shade of green in between. It would get brighter, it would get bigger, it would become more beautiful. All of the other animals would take care of themselves through the circle of life. We would get out of the way and life would flourish on Uchimaka, here on Mother Earth. How significant are we? Does that make us insignificant in the circle of life? And everything is more significant than we are? Why do we, as human beings, attempt to force our will upon this and think that we know what's best with technology? We think we're smarter than they are. On a recent episode, we talked about the buffalo walking into the snowstorm. We've been running from it for how long? Rather than walking into it to get through it. And we think we're smarter than they are? If you are in the woods at some point, you're out in nature. The day's getting long. You're hiking. You may be lost. You may not have communication. You may not know how to get out of where you're at. And you're getting hungry or you're getting thirsty. And you're not sure if the water is safe for you to drink. Or you're not sure if something may be poisonous. Watch what the other animals eat. The other animals that are not human. When the bears are eating the berries, they're not poisonous. You can eat them. When the squirrels are going after the mushrooms, they're not poisonous. You can eat them. You can find water that's good when the animals are drinking the water that's good. It may not agree with your system the best because you're not acclimated to it. Chances are it won't kill you if the animals are drinking it. They may know more than we do. They may not communicate the way we do. How is it that a human looks so insignificant at this point? How is it that the entire world flourishes when we stop moving so much? I think back a few years when a few societies in a few different continents were not out doing everything the way that they would every day. And in certain regions where there is so much smog, so much air pollution, for generations they have not been able to see mountaintops from a certain point of view, and all of a sudden those mountaintops come into view because the pollution disappears, because the humans quit moving so much. Or the rivers throughout the world, after a few months of not being out in the world every day and moving the way we do as human beings, the rivers all over the world were clear, more clear, clearer. They were more clear than they were or have been since, than they were before that. What is it that we're doing? How significant are we? We think as we move through human form that we're the end-all be-all. We think that we're smarter than other people because we're using technology. Without being derogatory when using this term, so don't mishear what I'm saying. Is it possible we're getting dumber with technology? We utilize certain things because it's convenient, because it's easy. Does it mean that we're not benefiting from doing the work? How many kids are learning to write cursive today? I'm thinking of American English language. How many people are still printing letters, writing them by hand, whether they print or they write in cursive? How many people are still doing that? How insignificant does that become? How insignificant are we? I say that because if we rely on certain things to take care of things for us, are we less significant? Are we proving that we are more ignorant to things? There are things that our children or grandchildren will never learn because there is such a convenience in the world. Is it good? Is it not good? Do you embrace it? Do you hold back and not want to embrace it? You know, I heard an elder one time say, if it's good, it'll stay. If it's not, it'll go by the wayside. I don't know how true that is. I think sometimes things that aren't good for us seem to stay. People will push their agenda upon us. They will push what they believe upon us. We begin to believe in the agenda and what's being pushed upon us. Other people force their will upon themselves. They force it upon us. We force our will upon ourselves. We force our will upon others. Is it healthy? Is it unhealthy? I don't know. Are we significant as human beings? I don't know. Are we insignificant as human beings? I don't know. I believe that I came into this lifetime to learn and to teach. I do not need to concern myself with what it is that I will teach in this lifetime. I came to share my experience. I am here to learn. I want to learn from everyone. I want to learn from people I appreciate. I want to learn from people that I have disdain for. I have disdain for less people than ever before. I still want to learn from them. I want to be able to learn from every situation. I want to learn that if I think I'm open-minded, I'm missing something. I remember walking up to an elder, and he said, "You're real open-minded, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think I am." He holds his hands out wide, puts his arms straight out to the side, each one of them. And he says, "You're open-minded to all this, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah, I am. I have good peripheral vision. I'm open-minded to all this." And he said, "You're missing 180 degrees behind you." I have much to learn. Looking forward to next time. Live in harmony with and use the bounty of the land to bring kindness to the world. Dok Shao Ke.